person action object.
Great.
And yeah, these are my main two systems. And then for all the events, I obviously use locations.
Great. Why 3-digit?
Because I think that for numbers, 3 digits is better than PAO. But for cards, I think that PAO is better than a 2-card system, because with the 2-card systems, you have problems because there are 2 different kinds of 2-card system. The first one is the one in which you need to change the numbers of images per location with the block system, and that's a little bit hard to do. And then the second system is the one with almost 3,000 images, which are way too much. So that's why I think that PAO for cards is better. Instead, 3 digits for numbers is a perfect system. You can choose your perfect numbers of images per location. You don't have too many images, so I find that 1,000 images works well for me.
Great. That's amazing. I think you are the first memory champion who used the 3-digit and BAO.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
At the same time.
Most of people, when they use 3 digits for numbers, they also switch to 2-card system for cards. Yeah.
Yes, block or 2-card system, I think.
Exactly.
Great. When you start training on 3-digit?
I started in 2019, actually, in 1 year ago, because it was April 2019. So one year and 2 months ago, I started using my 3-digit system.
Wow, that's amazing, and a great score with the 3-digit system in this short time and this short period. 1 month and 1 year and 2 months. Great.
Yeah.
How do you review your system, and when?
Okay, so do you mean reviewing the actual images, of the images
yes.
of my systems?
Yes.
I don't specifically review the images. What I do is just training, and we train. Obviously, the more I train, the more I can use my images, so review my images. But at the beginning, when I started using the system, in order to be familiar with that, I used to do speed drills. So going through a lot of numbers without memorizing them, but just converting them into images. But then when I started being familiar with my systems, I stopped doing that, and I just trained them by actual memorization and training. But speed drills is something really useful at the beginning, but also not just at the real beginning, because speed drills are really useful to improve your speed into converting data into images.
Great. That's a great idea. And PAO, do you use a real character for person or animation?
I use both. I use some actual persons, some animals, some creatures and characters from films and cartoons. And I think it's better to use different kinds of persons, because there's less chance of being confused, because all of your persons are different one to each other, because you have animals, you have real persons, so there's a lot more variability. And you know that variability in memory sports is one of the key factors, because when things are too similar to each other, the risk is to be confused and to forget. Instead, when things are always different, it's a lot easier to. So, hi Mona. Do you see Mohammed? Because I can't hear you.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah. Did you lose connection?
Yes, I have some problem connections.
Okay.
Okay. Next question. Do you prefer long test or short test?
I prefer short one.
Short, 1 minute,
but,
5 minutes.
Yeah, mainly 5 minutes. 5 minutes are my favorite because 1 minute are a little bit too short, and then the other ones are too long. So I think that the ideal time for training is the 5 minute events, like 5 minute numbers, 5 minute images, and dates, so on.
That's great. 5 minutes is your preferred test.
Yeah.
Great. And 60 minutes.
60 minutes, not so much. I trained just before the World Championship because they take so long, 3 hours straight, because you have 1 hour for memorization and then 2 hours for recall. But that's way too much. It's hard to find 3 hours straight in which you will not be interrupted. And so sometimes I train 30 minutes events, but right now I am not training hour events. I train just in November, end of October, maybe before the World Championship.
Great. In 5 minute numbers, do you go through all numbers one time or 2 times or 3 times?
So what I do is I memorize 480 digits, and then I review them. And then at this point, there is like 1 minute and a half left, and I memorize other like 200. So I memorize almost 700 digits. So I review the first 480, I review them. And then from 481 to further, I don't review them.
You go through them one time?
Yeah, from 480 to 700.
That's amazing. Great. How do you increase your speed in image, numbers, cards?
I increase my speed by going faster than I can actually go safely. So I try to force myself to go faster and to try to read and visualize faster, even though it's really hard. So what I do is I put myself in a condition that I can't actually hold. So for example, if for example, let's take speed cards. Let's take a beginner that averages at 1 minute. What he can do to improve his speed is to try to go for 50 seconds, even though it will be really hard to get all the deck correct, but that's not a problem. The main goal when you want to improve your speed is to go faster that you can do. So you will do a lot of mistakes, but this will help you to improve, because you can't improve your speed by going at a speed that is safe for you. You need to go at the speed out of your comfort zone.
Great. Next question is how do you prepare for the championships, World Memory Championships, national, international, World Standard Memory League, and how many hours do you train before the championship and the normal day? How many hours? Yes.
So it really depends on upcoming championships. So for example, right now I'm training about 1 hour or 1 hour and a half every day because there are no upcoming championships. But for example, before the World Championship and European Championships, I used to train about 3 hours per day. So it really depends if there are upcoming championships. If there are not, I will train about 1 hour to 1 hour and a half. If there are, also maybe up to 3 hours if there is a really important championships. And what I do is I try to train all the disciplines that I'm going to do in the competition. So from short disciplines to long disciplines, because obviously you want to be prepared on every test that you are going to do during the competition.
Great. Some people think the champions aren't work very hard, but I see the world champion Andrea work very hard along of year and before the competition.
It's better to train every day, even if you don't train too much. It's good to maintain your level, and then before the championships you increase the numbers of hours that you train.
Great. How do you choose any palaces to numbers, test, image, words? Is there prefer palaces to each discipline, numbers, words, image?
So yeah, I have preferred palaces and journeys for specific events, but the way in which I build my journeys are the same. So what I do is actually when I create a palace, maybe I know that I need more locations for my numbers. The way in which I build them is the same.
Great, that's great. Where do you live in Italy?
I live in Rome.
Roma. Give us some advice to become champions.
Yeah, sure. So the first tip is to try to have fun when training. So don't see the training like something that you have to do, but see the training like something that you want to do. So try to have fun while doing all the disciplines. The second tip is to always having a goal and a deadline for that specific goal. So for all the disciplines, you should have specific goals that you want to reach in a specific time. So maybe right now you can memorize a deck of cards in 1 minute. So you decide, okay, the next month I want to reach 55 seconds and so on, so that you are always motivated by that goals. And then the one is to don't put limits on yourself, on your performances. Don't see limits or any times any achievement that you can't reach. You just want to train more in order to achieve that, but don't see like top athletes as something that you will not able to reach, because this was actually the same for me. But then the more I started training, the more I improved and I reached the higher level. So always stay motivated and try to reach the higher levels. And then more specific tips for training, as I said before, try to always go faster. If you want to improve your speed, you should go faster than you can. And then of the images, because the visualization is the most important thing. So not the vocal part, but the images, the visualization. And then the third one is to train all the events. Don't just focus on like one discipline like cards or images. Train all the events, but mostly numbers, because numbers is the most important discipline, because in competition there are 10 disciplines and 5 out of 10 disciplines are numbers based, because we have the short numbers, the long, binary, spoken, and dates, so 5. So when you train numbers, you are improving in 5 disciplines out of 10. So it's a good idea to focus mainly on numbers, then on cards, which are 2 disciplines, and then on the other disciplines. But these other disciplines, you should also train them, at least like 1 per week. You should train names, images, words, and so on. Anyway, numbers is the most important thing.
Great, great informations and great advice. Another question: do you train with groups or alone?
Usually I train alone, but sometimes I train on memory league with rated matches with maybe my friends or people that I find on memory league that are online. But let's say maybe 6 times per week I train alone, and then once per week I train online with someone else.
It's great, amazing. Andrea participate in Italian Open, as I remember.
Yes, in March.
You have 3,000 or 4,000 points.
Yeah, about I think like 3,800. Yes. Yeah, almost 4,000.
And in October in IAM European Open, you do I think 8,000 points, and then World Memory Championship.
More than 8,000.
Yes, and then World Memory Championships That's amazing improvement in this period.
Thanks.
What Andrea do to reach this level?
So mainly I was really motivated because in my first competition in March, the Italian championship, I wasn't able to win. So this keep me motivated through the year. And what I did is training every day, a lot of hours. Yeah, that's there's actually nothing too special that I do. I just try to train harder and to always go faster and train every day with all my attention.
That's great score and great performance. I play with you in last remote memory league championship.
Yeah.
You win. We have here Faris who win the consolation bracket.
Congratulations for that.
Thank you. And me playing in winner bracket 16th round, and we leave after that. I play with you, and played with Simon Reinhardt. That was a great competition.
Okay, now again.
I'm back again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about this connection.
No problem.
Finally, I want to thank you. I would like to thank you a lot for this great informations and great great idea to improve ourselves. Thank you a lot, Andrea, and I hope you go stronger and broke world records again in next competition.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to stay with you and to talk with you. And yeah, I hope to see you all again in some competitions, maybe online or offline, but just keep competing.
Great. Thank you a lot, Andrea. Thank you.
Bye. See you next time.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.